Hello and welcome to another wonderful discussion for young meteorologists. I just wanted to first say, especially for you freshmen who are just getting through your first semester of college, you made it through the finals. Or you're doing them right now. Yeah, you're doing them right now, or you're getting through them. You're getting ready to go home. Congratulations. No matter what score you got, hey, you went through it, you fought through it. If you failed the final, it's okay. It's all right. Learn from it and go back at it harder. Or if you passed, congratulations. Now, the one thing I want you to understand as you head home, relax. Enjoy the break. Take a deep breath and get ready for the next semester. Whatever happened in that first semester, take the lessons you learned and bring them forward. But most importantly, hey, you got through your first semester of college. And some of you older college guys and girls out there, well, look, each time you get through, especially if you're a sophomore, what you want to do now during this break is obviously relax, but also start thinking, what can I do to start getting ready to look for some internships? Just put that in the back of your head. Sometimes they hold those internships more for the juniors, but it's a good idea to start reaching out to people starting the next semester just to get that kind of feel of what is needed. Maybe there's a certain grade point average you need to get to or a certain class that you need to take. That way you can prepare for it now and then make those adjustments rather than finding out in your junior year and then like you're kind of screwed. So definitely that is really important. For you high school kids out there, well, you got a couple more weeks, but then here comes break. I don't know, various parts of the country call it holiday break, Christmas break, whatever. But hey, if you are a senior or junior, you're getting ready to get ready for college and get all that stuff together. Now, what could you use for your Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever holiday you happen to be celebrating? I'm going to give you some suggestions. One book that I think is paramount that every meteorologist should have, no matter what part of the country they're in, is this book. Northeast Snowstorms by Paul Cosin and Louis Ussolini. These guys, okay, I'm going to put it right here. Okay. There we go. Okay, these guys fundamentally changed the forecasting of East Coast of winter storms. They're amazing. All right, so if you ever have a chance to run into any of them, either one of them, and have a chance to have a chat with them at AMS meeting or something, definitely do it. You'll learn a lot just listening. They know more stuff. They've forgotten more stuff than you could possibly remember. They're absolutely amazing. I had that ability to do that with Dr. Cosin. He doesn't probably even remember me, but just listening to him and listening to all the things that he knows and stuff, it's the things that he's picked up. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. With that, the reason you have two volumes, Volume 1 and Volume 2, which I'll show in a moment. Volume 1, right here, basically gives you the details of what to look for with a winter storm. Okay, now this goes with everything from climatological factors, little things that you could look for like a couple of weeks out that might be a signal for a winter storm, factors that basically don't support a winter storm, high latitude blocking factors, and some model data that you want to keep an eye on when it starts to show up, like, oh, this is a clue, this is a key. And this allows you to understand what factors are supportive for a winter storm and what aren't. And it goes beyond just how snowstorms. It also does ice storms, storms over the interior. There are little clues to look for. Location of high pressure tracks, the location of jet streaks in relationship to those various tracks of low and high pressure systems, the various types of low and high pressure systems, Miller A, Miller B, Clippers, okay? And then volume 2, build this up right here. Now this one is really, really important. Okay, the first one's educational. This one is for forecasting. Okay, and what I mean by forecasting is that volume 2, it gives you a whole bunch of cases. All right, and I think the new one might have been updated, but the one I have takes me up to roughly, I think, let's see here, yeah, roughly around 2003, yeah, and it gives you a different, basically an idea of the various patterns in the various storms that produced a variety of storm impacts. And again, it's not just snow, it's also various time periods, everything from November to May. They even have one for October here, if you guys remember that October snowstorm a couple of years back. It has examples here of ice storms over the interior. And the reason why you want to look for this is that it's not so much saying, oh, you're trying to match storms from 1950 to 2003 and then say that's how this storm's going to be. What you want to do with that information is take it and then look at what the forecasting pitfalls were and what some of the clues were as far as the development of those storms. What were the upper level dynamics ahead of that storm, 3, 4, 5 days out, that could give you a clue of what to expect in your forecast. Now, so it's really, really great. Now, you can't go A to B on these type of forecasting situations. What you want to do is kind of get a general idea and give yourself a ballpark, okay? Like, for example, if a certain pattern is a positive North Atlantic oscillation, a positive Arctic oscillation, and a trough moving through the West Coast, you can pretty much rule out the idea of an Arctic high pressure system staying locked in and producing a major snowstorm on the East Coast, because that is pretty much the worst case scenario of support for that type of storm. But it could possibly support an ice threat for the interior. So you look at storms that are like that. So again, what you want to do when you have that data is not say, okay, A equals B, so I'm going to take whatever happened with this storm and then make a big deal about it and then make references to it. What you want to do is say, okay, here is the storms that I'm looking at. Here are the details of what happened. Here is the ballpark of ranges that I could expect. And then you take the observations that you have now, combine with the model data, you put that all together, and then you make your forecast. So this gives you a ballpark, and then you take your observations and you narrow down that ballpark to where you want to hit that home run. Okay, so I think those are two really outstanding books that I would strongly suggest everyone get. And remember, the reason why, let's say if you want to forecast in the Rockies, the reason why it's good to pick up on this is that if you know that these certain patterns support East Coast snowstorms, guess what? They also support very strong ridges over the Rockies. Okay, so it kind of gives you an idea how to forecast for the entire country. So these clues, again, everyone's connected, everything's connected. So understanding what causes these storms on the East Coast gives you a better idea of what also causes those patterns on the West Coast, Rockies, and so on and so forth. So I think it's an excellent book to get. So if you have a friend, family member, whoever is really interested in meteorology, I would say from 16 on. I think under 16, some of the terminology might be a little bit above some of those people. I mean, I got it at 14, but you get my point. Teenager, okay? I don't think this would be a good book for kids. A good book for kids, you can find a ton of them in the bookstores. I've seen them. They're really good. So definitely check that out. But the other thing I would suggest, if you have the chance, is also build your own weather station, especially if you have a kid. The reason why I say build is that it's probably going to be a little bit less expensive, and you'll learn a lot more. Some of the observation systems out there, which I'll talk about next week, can be a bit pricey, especially if you're just starting out. So just something to consider. So that is our discussion for this weekend. I hope you've had a wonderful first semester. I hope you high schoolers have had a wonderful first half of your junior and senior year, or whatever year you're in. I hope you have a wonderful holiday break, and I will see you here next week.